Just the world like a camera dial. Strangers to Cynthia, bringing you the truth like a Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings the light so you don't feel the fall. She paints and shades that aren't black or white. In the ink of her stories, there's always some light. No matter where you are, you'll hear her call, echoing the truth, standing tall. Strangers in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings the light so you don't feel the fall.
Go please. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I am gonna run this back really quickly. I will be with you guys momentarily. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. I'll be back momentarily.
She says sounds smooth, but the city on a vibe with that justice in her name is where the truth comes alive. From the headlines to the block, she's got her ear to the ground, serving news that's real with a beat and a sound. Street justice in the air, bringing you the truth like a Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings the light so you don't feel the fall. A calm in the storm with that urban kick. She's got style and grace like a journalistic trick. From the heart of the city to the outskirts world, she captures the world like a camera dial. Street justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings the light so you don't feel the fall. Calm in the storm with that urban kick. She's got style and grace like a journalistic trick. From the heart of the city to the outskirts wild, she captures the world like a camera dial. Street justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings the light so you don't feel the fall. She paints the shades that aren't black or white. In the ink of her stories, there's always some light. No matter where you are, you'll hear her call, echoing the truth, standing tall. Street justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings the light so you don't feel the fall.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Honesty Podcast with your girl Word. Y'all already know life be lifing, but I had to come in the building with y'all because y'all already know I definitely have been following the Diddy trial. But before we even jump into all of that, let me start off with saying shout outs and thank you guys so much to all of my subscribers, my bush watchers, my replay gang. Last but not least, my moderators. I hope I'm coming across clear just because sometimes my Wi-Fi be going crazy. Look at my beautiful moderator already in the building. I'm going to type in, can you guys hear me? Because I don't be knowing what be going on sometimes. Like it's in and out. Like I don't know what's happening. It's definitely in and out. And you know what's so real? This is the time, every time I try to go on, y'all. Zori wants to do her own thing. So I hope you guys can hear me. I hope it's I'm clear. Perfect. Okay, so yes, like I said, thank you so much to my beautiful moderators. Thank you guys for just putting me and keeping me in the algorithm. Even though I lack a little bit of consistency, but I've definitely has just been following through this whole Diddy trial. I wanted to actually come to you guys and kind of give it to you guys all together. Um, but yeah, y'all already know the vibes. Um, First Lady OG, are you gonna drop in? It's clear. Thank you so much. Are you gonna drop in? I did send over the link. So whenever you want to drop in, um, feel free to drop in. Like I said, guys, I definitely have been following this Diddy trial. I wanted to literally take my time and listen to the testimonies that took place from each person that testified against Diddy alongside the cross examination, which we are going to actually go through. um, it didn't go through. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys, while I see what happened with this link. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. 1 second. First Lady OG. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Oh gosh. All right. Hold on. First Lady. Something definitely. I thought it went through. It did not. Hold on. Bear with us. Bear with us, y'all. Bear with us. Y'all love us. Sometimes we be moving a little bit too fast. Why is it not going through? Okay. Hold on. I have to go back and figure something out. Give me 1 second because it's still giving me. Okay. That's what I. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm almost there with it. Why is it not letting me? Okay. Oh, what? What is it? Oh my God. Jesus, help me. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, First Lady OG, it should pop. It should have popped up. I literally sent it out to you, and it did not go through. That was a technical difficulties on my part. With that being said, um, I sent it over, so you should see it. I'm gonna give it a few. Wait for First Lady OG to come up, and in the meantime, between time, of course, you guys gotta bear with me because I got my baby girl and she's doing her own thing. So okay, perfect, First Lady OG. First Lady OG got the link. That's perfect. With that being said, I'm going to jump into just a brief of what's been going on. In regards to, like I said, a lot of people took the stand within this third week. We had Kid Cudi on the stand. We had Dawn on the stand. We had a lot of people that were able to come forth after Cassie Ventura. So I would say the ones that were able to take the stand, we were able to get a little bit of insight. I am also going to discuss a few things as far as some of the testimonies when it came down to like the cross examination. Cassie's best friend, Carrie, if for those of you who are not familiar, she is supposed to be Capricorn Clark. But like I said, we're gonna dive deep in. I'm actually just waiting for the First Lady OG to pull up. Welcome to the building, Sleepy Rob. Welcome to the building. Yes, Rich Rising. Say that again, Rob. Say that again. But yes, of course, you know what I mean. We're gonna vibe out. We're gonna have the conversation. I definitely want to know what the thoughts. What are y'all thoughts? Like, what are y'all thoughts just for all that has been put out on the table? I think for some of us, we kind of had an ideal of things that were going on in the industry because it was like a lot of whispers of stuff going on in the industry. But now that it's now coming like full force with this whole Diddy trial, is definitely put a major crack in the industry by far. Because like, even coming across Wendy Williams, First Lady OG sent me over something that I got a chance to actually listen to, and I'm gonna actually play that for you guys. And Wendy Williams' testimony was definitely mind blowing. And I am a big fan of Wendy Williams. I have been following her from day one. So I mean, she definitely went through different things as far as when it came down to Diddy and how she spoke publicly about information she was finding out about y'all. But when I tell you, it is definitely an explosive situation, and especially in this third week, I would say this third week definitely is now the opening of I think a lot more that's gonna come out. And I'm not gonna front. You know it's so funny because this is why they tell you be careful what you do because your past will come back to haunt you. And the reason why I say that is because they're even seeming as we go further into the trial, it seems like it's gonna be Kim Porter that's gonna be brought up in regards to her passing and also going all the way back to the Biggie passing and the Tupac situation. Those things, just because it was talked about in the first 2 weeks, and it wasn't talked about in a big significance, but I do think that they're gonna go back and return and speak on that. Sonia, Sleepy Rob, I don't know what y'all thinking about this whole situation, but let me know what y'all feel. What do you think? Do you think Diddy stands a chance of actually walking away? I mean, his defense think I think the defense feels like they have a loophole. From everything that I've listened to, I feel that's what they feel. The prosecution is actually pretty strong at painting the picture, and we may have had some testimonies that was a little bit shaky, but it still laid the foundation down. Auntie's house unlocked. Sonia said, hi, Auntie's house. Hello, Sleepy Rob. No chance. No chance. I agree with you, Sonia. I don't think he has any chance. From what I'm getting, he's blown through damn near all of his money when it comes down to this trial. Now, a lot of his assets is involved. So, with him going to jail and being convicted, he is going to lose a lot of his assets. Okay, so right now they have like so much of his assets, and he's basically burned through the money that was put especially for this case. Okay, so with them seizing his assets, if convicted, a lot of the victims will be able to get paid off for the pain and suffering that they went through. The cat definitely out of the bag. Oh my God, Sleepy Rob, the cat is definitely out of the bag. I'm not sure if the First Lady OG is having complications um with getting into the link, but I don't know what's happening, but it sounds like some kids are screaming. I'm not sure if First Lady OG is having difficulties coming onto the link, but I know that she is about to arrive in a moment. So I'm just gonna jump in until she actually pops in. So guys, let's just get into this shit because it has definitely. Whew, I don't think this is good for Diddy. So let's just put it out there. What we have learned for week 3 for this trial, the biggest moment, I'm like I said, in week 3 is the fact that Diddy's sex trafficking trial arrived on Thursday when, if you guys don't know, Kid Cudi. Now, Kid Cudi is very significant because Kid Cudi was dealing with Cassie. So, known professional, Kid Cudi, he took the stand, briefly dated Cassie Ventura, which, as we know, is Diddy's ex girlfriend. But I'm just making sure that for those of you who may not be familiar, because not everybody's following the case, and it's a good amount of people that are following the case. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the case or haven't been keeping up with the case, I'll just fill in the blanks as I go along, just giving you guys the rundown. So, the ex girlfriend of Diddy, as we know, which is Cassie Ventura, she dated Kid Cudi, and he was able to take the stand and he explained in 2011 he believed that Diddy was the one who had something to do with his car being blown up as a payback for him being involved with Cassie. In addition, okay, Kid Cudi made sure he laid down the foundation. The jurors heard from two of also Combs' former employees who spoke to painful, long work days and their bosses' volatile behavior. And we have witnessed that. Like, it is videos from when he started on reality TV and he was doing making a band. Like, he was very, very, like, he was having outbursts. So you definitely, like, if I could date back and remember making a band, it was a lot of times I seen Diddy come out of character, and definitely the way he was treating the young artists that he picked to come onto the show of making a band. And I'm going to tell you, for me personally, it was very, very disgusting. But anyhow, it gets so deep. A federal agent who helped lead the Department of Homeland Security, the one who raided Diddy's properties last year, shared some of the items also confiscated in Diddy's home. I mean, Diddy had the handgun, and every handgun that they found, the serial number was scratched off of it. AR-15 parts that were like just pulled together. They found multiple drugs. We knew they found the lube and all of that. Ventura's mother was the most powerful testimony, but we're going to wait for me to break down her testimony, because her testimony, if you ask me, put the nail in his coffin. And as a mom, knowing that your daughter and finding out that your daughter is going through all of this abuse and enduring this abuse and having to take pictures, like, it really hit a different way. With Give me a second. I want to see if I can. I hope the background. Are you guys still hearing me clearly? Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly, just because I'm seeing that my Wi-Fi is going in and out. So if you guys can hear me clearly, just let me know. Just type it in the chat. Um, like I said, for those of us who knows. Cassie Ventura's mom took the stand. Her testimony was damning. It was definitely heartbreaking. And when I tell you, it gets deep. Welcome, Marta the Smarter. Thank you very much. Thank you guys very much for pulling up in the building. I appreciate that very much. Perfect. The children fine and perfect. Well, you know what's so funny? The twins recently had a prom. They have attended um like the first 2 weeks of the trial. They had attended. After that, you didn't see them anymore at all. Like, the girls, the boys still have been showing face, but you definitely haven't been seeing the girls. And I don't think actually that the young ladies should be there. It was said allegedly that the sons were involved in certain things. I'm not sure. I'm just going to use alleged when it comes down to his children. But I do feel that this is so disgraceful. And the mere fact that you have daughters and you can treat somebody else's child and do the things that you forced on somebody else's child is very disheartening. Like I said, I found it to be very disheartening and very disgusting when I tell you. Anyhow, I'm going to go in with just breaking down the whole Kid Cudi and what he testified to, and it was ridiculous. So let me just give you the Kid Cudi when he took the stand and what he said. So Kid Cudi testified that Combs broke into his house after discovering his relationship with Ventura. Cudi said he found out from one of Diddy's employees Diddy and then called Diddy to ask directly. He stated on the stand, I said, "Mother effer, are you in my house?" He said, "I'm here waiting for you." Cudi told the court, per NBC, when Cudi got there, he found several of his possessions out of place and his dog locked in the bathroom. He recalled filing a police report and said a few weeks later, when his car caught fire in his driveway, he assumed Diddy had been behind it. Okay, the court viewed a photo of the damage to the car. It looks like the top of the Porsche was cut off, and that's where I think the motorable cocktail was put in. And mind you, this is the cocktail. This was something that was created to blow up the car. He was treating the making the band cast horrible. Yes, he was, Sonia. He was treating these kids horrible. And you know what made it worse is because these kids was in search of following their dream, and you hear P Diddy, somebody that can possibly be the key to your success and the things that you want to embark on. He holds the key of you getting there. So now these kids, not knowing any better, not understanding what their value were at the time, was willing to do so, was willing to do so. I don't know what's going on, and they will need to. Okay, so First Lady OG, you have to connect your mic. Okay, there you go. There you go. And I would say, this is why I would say, for me personally, they really went through traumatic moments, you know. And the sad part about it, like I said, was looking up to a person that basically held a chance of their dreams coming through in the palm of his hands. And I understand that part. Let me pause for a moment and we'll dive back in. First Lady OG, welcome to the building. Thank you for pulling up on me. First Lady, First Lady OG, are you here?
Peace and blessings, love and light,
All right, perfect.
Sleepy Rob in the building, Sonia in the building, my sissies in the building. We in here. I just want to send my love, and I'm not going to stop us because our technical difficulties. But yes, we're going let the good times roll. So I will get with you guys in a little bit. Let word keep going. Thank y'all for the Odyssey podcast for allowing me back in the building. And yeah.
Can I ask a question? Is the background sounds of the because Zori's listening to her show. So is that, oh, that it's good? Is it too
We
loud?
don't hear nothing. We don't hear
Okay,
that.
great. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, great. So yes. You could finish up First Lady OG.
We did. She good.
Hi, Mom. Is that you?
Yes, that's me, baby.
I miss you with you, Mom.
Where's Zuri? Zuri's right here. So mommy's gonna put Zuri up there in a minute, okay?
And Daddy?
What about you say hi?
Me with Daddy.
No, that's G-Ma.
Let's dive in. I'm listening. I'm heard. I'm
Mommy,
in and
where
out.
Daddy
I'm in
go?
and out. I
Okay.
have a good
He's not
connection.
he's not here right now.
Daddy
He'll be
is
back.
here.
No,
Eli.
no.
Why?
Because that's Puff Daddy. That's somebody you don't know. Look, Sonia said, hi, Zuri. You see your name?
Yeah.
Hi, Zuri. So
Hi.
say hi, Auntie Sonia.
Hi, Auntie Sarah.
How are you doing? All righty. There you go. And you got Auntie Marta in the building as well. So, yes, First Lady OG, you already know the vibes. Perfect. I just wanted to check in with everybody. So, yes, like I was saying, the photo of the damaged car, the damage to the car, it looked like the top of the Porsche was cut off. This is Kid Cudi's testimony as, oh, Sonia said, fine, Zuri. She said she's doing fine, baby. Kid Cudi sat on the stand, and this is what he actually testified to. And the breakdown of it was him explaining what he experienced, and he knew it was a cocktail that was formed in order for his car to be blown up. He knew that Diddy had involvements, as I just stated, because they had a conversation over the phone. So that set the tone to let you know what part he did play in the Kid Cudi situation. Now, when it first went down, it was all over about Kid Cudi's car being blown up. It was a lot of speculation of what might have or who might have did it, but it kind of like got swept under the rug. And then it had a second moment when they did end up meeting up at, I believe it was probably like Italy. They were somewhere, but Kid Cudi was invited. Cassie also was there. It seemed like they was there to have a conversation, and Kid Cudi definitely was trying to figure out if he was going to get payment for the fact that his car got blown up, and he knew that Diddy had something to do with it. And that was when he actually punched Kid Cudi in the face, and that situation took place. And also, I believe that same time, and Cassie was also beaten up. Alongside Kid Cudi's testimony, which I think he did a great job with actually giving the full on breakdown of what he remembered took place and why it took place, really gave support to Cassie and Cassie's testimony. Because let's make this quite clear, with Cassie's testimony and even through the cross examination, it was her being able to give everything good and bad, regardless to how it made her look, even when the cross examination was able to put out text messages of things that she was saying to him, things that she was agreeing to through text message. It still formed the understanding of how a person can truly be battered. And like I said, she was involved with him from 19, and it definitely significant in age because he was almost 40 years old. The next person to take the stand was Dawn Richards. I don't know. Let me see what's in your mouth. Please do not put those things in your mouth. I tell you, do not put these things in your mouth because it can slip down your throat. You cannot put this in your mouth. It's dangerous. Don't put it back in your mouth, Duri. Thank you. Don't put it back in your mouth. Thank you. Well, you're gonna be upset because you that's dangerous, and I don't want you to choke. So be upset for a moment. Yes. So now Dawn Richards now testifies, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna run through her testimony, and I'm gonna let you guys know. Give me 1 second. First Lady OG, are you in the building? First Lady OG.
Yeah, I mean, I was on mute, like, yes, ma'am.
Okay, hold on 1 minute. Okay, can you take over for 1 second?
Yeah. Okay. I heard her say with John Richards. Um, I I think heck, that's probably one of the ones I did not listen to. I didn't actually hear the testimony of Dawn Richards. Um, the last thing that I listened to was um, and who did I hear last? Last person I heard was Wendy Williams. Um, 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 um. Y'all know I be on a whole nother level. So I was listening. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Sonia. Um, I'm working on getting myself out here, on the different platforms, but I definitely appreciate that. I was laughing because when I did the YouTube short, I was like, so now after I do it, how do I publish it or put it on YouTube so people can see it? She was like, girl, Marta was like, girl, 500 people done look at it already. I was like, no, they didn't,
I'm
because I
sorry about that. I'm back.
there she go, y'all.
Sorry. I'm just letting you know I'm back. You could finish saying what you were saying. I'm sorry about that.
Well, first and foremost, you're not sorry, and I was just really feeling in the air. Sonia was
Okay, cool.
gave me a little, congratulations on my little video. So I just was saying, I'm working, I'm working.
Oh, it was definitely. And then hopefully we can get her on YT full time. We gotta hopefully we can get that popping like, at least 2, 3 days out the week. But yes, guys, back to this whole testimony and trial for week 3 of Diddy. Don Richards also was one of the people to actually take the stand to testify. Now, I'm going to run down Don Richards' testimony, and then I will give my commentary behind what I feel as far as her testimony went. But I will say it again, Kid Cudi definitely assisted with laying down the foundation when it came down to a lot of the things that Cassie was enduring and why she had a lot of fear to even move forward and do anything or try to get away. But like I said, with the cross examination, it was a lot of other things to come out. And when your mind and when you've been mentally broken down, physically broken down, emotionally broken down, you lose sight of yourself. You no longer feel value. Now it's like everything is like whatever. You're willing to do whatever that's gonna make that next individual happy and not want to hurt you. And no matter what you see, is no opening. And I think that's part of why Cassie kind of like realized like no matter what I'm gonna do, I would never make him happy or satisfied. But let's just jump into the Don Richards testimony. um Don Richards, a singer who belonged um oh, hold on guys. Don Richards, who belonged to Diddy's managed bands in the mid mid timings during, like, I would say, if you guys are familiar with like Danity Kane, which was a girl group that came together on MTV. And if you remember Danity Kane, it falls all in with making the band. You understand? That was all around the same timing. So for those of us who was MTV heads, you know about making the band, um, MTV Cribs. That's all that era. So anyhow, they put together this girl group that came together. Um, MTV decided that they were gonna do like Jesus. If you go back, it was like they Diddy did like a hosting for making the band and actually the trio of Danity Kane making the band, and then trying to also bring in Dirty Money, which Dirty Money was Kalina and Don Richards. Okay, so that was that whole Dirty Money. So Richards filed a sexual battery assault against Diddy back in 2024, alleging, among other things, that she witnessed Diddy physically assaulting Cassie on several occasions. During Richards' testimony, she also immediately followed up with a lot of incidents that took place. Cassie, 4 days on the stand, she recalled an alleged incident that took place in 2009, in which, okay, Cassie was attacked by Diddy. She also states, which was in his home. Richards also stated, she walked into a situation where Diddy came into the kitchen yelling. He was screaming at Cassie, where the fuck was his eggs? Excuse my language, but that's how he was saying it. And then he tried to smack her in the head with a frying pan. She said she watched Cassie fall to the ground. Also, according to Richards, she's seen Cassie in a fetal position more than one time. Um, she also stated that she could see she was trying to hide her face and her head. Richards said as Diddy kicked Cassie and punched her before dragging her upstairs. Richard also stated she heard glass breaking and yelling, but didn't get involved because she feared the escalation. The next day, Richard stated that Diddy called both her and a friend who allegedly witnessed the incident in his studio and delivered a warning. Where he comes from, people go missing if they say anything. Richard remember Diddy telling her that, and then gave her and her friend, which that alleged other person that she stated is a witness to what took place with Cassie for the incidents that she's stating, is Kalina. Now, Kalina is definitely on the defense side. Kalina is definitely not going to testify on the behalf of Cassie. Kalina will be testifying on the behalf of Diddy. Um, if you know, you know, go check out an interview, go pull up Kalina's interview, and she definitely is Diddy all day long. So when Dawn took the stand, it was um it was not, I wouldn't say it was a win for the cross exam, which is the defense. And the only reason I wouldn't say it was a win, okay, but I would say that they were able to kind of discredit her in a sense because in some points I don't feel like she was being all the way truthful. And I think that she was just going off of a lot of what Cassie stated took place and almost trying to corroborate it as though she was there. Now, I'm not going to say that she did not or was not around for incidents. I'm not going to say she didn't hear things or she was not around to probably see a particular instance. But if you are around and a situation takes place, you're going to be able to remember. So even if somebody's questioning you about that instance, right? You're going to be able to repeat it verbatim again the way you said it on multiple occasions prior. So even when she was investigated by the feds, and she was interviewed based on what she said versus how her actions and how she came off on the stand threw a lot of people off. Okay, it even threw me off a bit. You know what I mean? Because it's like you stated that you heard him cursing and speaking about his effing eggs, and then you seen him take the pan and hit Cassie, and then she falls on the ground and she's laying there in the fetal position, and then you witness him continue to like kick her and do all of these things to her and then drag her upstairs. This was in the federal interview when the feds interviewed her. But then, as the defense is asking her about this particular moment in which she said Diddy strikes Cassie with the pan, she then changes and says, well, I'm not sure. I think that's what he did. So, this is where it becomes a problem because it's either you seen it or you didn't. It's either you heard what you heard or you didn't. So, the mere fact of now you're like, oh, well, I'm not, I didn't see it, but I do recollect that it was an argument going on or whatever have you, and then I heard loud sounds. You should have said that the same way. Like I'm not understanding with Dawn the changes in her story. If you remembered it and you filed the suit back in 2024 when you alleged all that you seen took place alongside abuse that you went through, then why when you're being cross-examined, I mean, she was so off. She threw me off. She was so off. Her testimony for me definitely was not it at all. I definitely feel like uh, with the cross examination with Dawn, yes, they definitely had an opening with that because they was able to puncture holes into her testimony. I also felt that they went extremely hard on her as well when it came down to the questioning. First Lady OG, what is your thoughts on as far as Dawn Richards? Like what is your thoughts so far on the testimony that I have just put out there? And for those of you in the chat, Sleepy Rob, Sonia, Marta the Smarter, feel free to put your thoughts in the chat as well on how you guys feel in regards to this Dawn Richards testimony. And then we'll tap in to further information and further testimony. So I'm not sure where the first. Okay, there she
I
goes.
mean, um, y'all know I be liking to play the devil's advocate and all that, but I'm definitely feeling like I see, like I said, this was probably one of the ones I didn't hear. So I didn't hear that discrepancy. But as soon as I'm listening while she's reading, the first thing I say is somebody, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody everybody's gonna go with the fear thing, of course. Could somebody have contacted her or contacted somebody that she know and said, go ahead, keep talking? Yes, I do believe that too. Are people scared? Yes. I mean, I believe that she's changing it up only because either somebody said something to her or the fear is outweighing everything else. I, I actually, on a level above with those in a whole nother spiritual realm about this and what's happening with some of these people, that I have also heard that the people that are coming either from the left or right, that they're all paid. I mean, I feel like it's such a show that they're giving up right now. Some of these things almost look comical, like they should be on social media with a storyline. Because if you did see the part when like I've never been in a courtroom where the defendant can tell the judge what to do and what he wants. That says straight up circus, straight up storyline and bullshit, as a lot of this stuff is, part of my friends, you guys. Or he's under the payroll as well. Judges paid for as well. That's why he listens to who's in the hot seat. So I'm gonna land there so we could just keep going because I could keep going, but I'm gonna land there.
I totally have the same sentiments. I feel like they are going to try and make her look crazy. I totally agree with you, Marta. I definitely feel like they definitely are, because this is in which the beginning of the picture that they're trying to paint, and not for nothing. It's I don't know. Like the defense is funny. I swear the defense is funny as hell. Like if you listen to the whole defense, they are hilarious.
Sounds
Um
like they should have came over to Bigo and did a
Something
storyline.
like
They probably would have got some money.
Aglafilio. Oh my God, Mark Aglafilio. He's like, I don't know, like I don't know. I don't know. I know the judge though is just like, this guy is like, oh, I don't know. He don't got it together at
I'm
all. I
telling
would
you,
say that.
he's either
I think
paid,
the judge is pretty much
he's
like
paid, or it's
over it.
a storyline. Like the Diddy told him, like, I want to take a break now. Because first he tried to snap, like the court breaks when I say break, da da da. And then he turned around and shot at him, like, well, I want to take a break now. This nigga slapped the gavel, like, the court of being taking a break, 15, whatever the fuck they gave him. Like, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
I'm just like, listen, it yeah, it definitely, the storyline definitely could be on Bigo. It is definitely an entire performance. Smarter to smarter, it's an entire performance. I mean, it is. Listen, wait, this shit is going to be on Netflix. This is going to be a documentary. It is going to turn into a movie. They are going to make money off of this. This is definitely one that's going to be for the books. um y'all, it's a few other things I'm waiting. I don't want to say too much, but it's a few other things that's looking like it's going to come up. And the craziest thing about it, as much as Hove and Bay want to distance themselves from the situation, it seems like they might be also coming up. Allegedly, we'll stay tuned for that, and I'll keep y'all posted on that as I get more details. How do you all watch it? Um, oh, how do we actually watch the actual court hearing, Sonia? So the actual court hearing, if you're talking about the actual trial is not for the public. It's actually people that are reporting on it. And so you have people that are like, for instance, I like to watch crime news. Right. I like to watch Law and Crime. And Law and Crime is actually, they do live coverage and they give you a breakdown of everything that's happening in the courts as well, because they have it in the courts, as well as you have people like Savage Royalty. Savage Royalty, she is one of the females that's also covering the Diddy trial, and she has the ability to look at certain documents in regards to the trial. She does have her press badge where she's able to get certain information, and she's right here on YouTube. And she's on investigative. She's an investigative journalist, and she definitely dives deep and she goes into and covers step by step what's going on in the trial. So if you just go and you check out Savage Royalty right here on YouTube as well as on Bigo, you can also get a full breakdown from beginning to right now of what's been happening in the Diddy trial step by step, and like I said, as well as Law and Crime. And I'm not gonna it's a few content creators that's out here that actually came out from like California and Miami and these places to actually be here in person for the Diddy trial, that is doing live coverage from the trial itself every like 15 to 20 minutes sometimes, depending on how the breaks go for the trial. So you have a few content creators that's out here that actually came out from the trial itself every like information. So yes, y'all. Back to what I was. It was a lot of explosive things to happen, but now we're gonna dive into Cassie Ventura. It is true crime with Savage Royalty right here on YT. So like I said to you guys, you can also following can you hear me? Okay. First Lady OG, take over for a moment.
Hey y'all. Yes, so again, just like a performance, they should have a channel, but at the end of the day, is anybody paying attention that all this domestic violence we talking about? Ain't nobody talking nothing about no trafficking. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I'm not saying I'm with domestic violence or any of that, but I'm just saying, like, my boy's supposed to be on RICO charges and all of that for a lot of other different things. Because at the end of the day, is it against the law to be freaky and shit? Nah, it's not. But it's so much more that they just bubbling this shit in one circle and just bouncing around the same thing. They just bouncing around the same thing. They really playing around on everybody that's coming in. Notice the people that could really shut it down and say some things, corroborate uh 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 Cassie, everybody, Rodney Jones, like they say all these people is scared. I believe them. I mean, I'm gonna go a step above. Like, is you really think that this mastermind was able to do this for all of these years, and he just gonna come down just like that? That's not gonna happen like that either. I don't really see that either. So when I really say looking at this as a, a poop show, and again, they should have put this out on all social media platforms. Um, because it seems as if it's like again, it seems just like I don't know, a whole big, like I said, a whole big storyline. People, I'm above hearing that the people that are coming forth against are still paid. Like my boy is the mastermind that's paying to muddy his own waters because he already know what's happening and what's really going on. Like I don't know, y'all. This stuff goes very deep and so intricate, and the way they bouncing this ball on the surface for others to not really see and have nothing to say. Once again, staying inside the box because that's where everybody wants you because you're afraid if you speak out because I mean, yeah, they're gonna take you down in the courtroom if you try to stand up and say, okay, okay, okay. He was very freaky. My girl got caught up, and I know what it is to be under narcissistic times 100. Let's say my boy is, and yes, it's hard to just walk up out of that and then understanding she got in it because a lot of people, oh, why did she stay? People that abuse end up blaming themselves for being abused. If I didn't even say that, he wouldn't have knocked me if I didn't say that. Dang, you shouldn't have said that. So that is something that people have to understand as well when you start trying to throw shade on Cassie for being there for 10 years at 19 years old. A kid that's rubbing elbows and bumping and hunching on Puff Daddy at 19 years old. What she thinks she about to get out here in these streets, okay? That's what it is to me when I think about a young girl. Just like, I mean, look at Bill Cosby. You come 60 years later when he's 80, could barely see and talk to talk about something that happened 60 years ago with a girl that was 19, 21 years old sitting around Bill Cosby and wanted whatever she wanted. I'm not saying that she deserved to be taken advantage of and given things and essayed or anything of that nature. But when you go, I got a perfect example for y'all. All right, y'all know my baby is 19, right? So him and his friends here. So now he texts like, "Mom, a couple of friends want to come by." Da, 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 da. He know that ain't no problem. But I turned around and looked at the goddamn clock. And it's 1:30. I live in the mountains. Ain't no just was riding by in the area type shit around here. Okay? You was summoned or someone called you. These are two young men here. Then come to the door because I'm telling him like, nah, it's 1:30. Because I know you don't be doing that. Unless you pulling up from a game, got off a bus, you staying with somebody, they expecting y'all to be walking up in the premises this time of night. You ain't just hanging out and going home with nobody, walking up in nobody's house at 1:30 in the morning. AM, excuse me. That's not happening. And it was two young ladies. So what's the first thing I say? What you looking for coming to a young man's house at 1:30 in the morning? Honestly. I mean, it ain't that type of party over here because I tell a fast ass, hey, I go outside then. They already here, take y'all ass outside then. And then text them while he was outside. So they fast ass need to think about how they moving. Because I'm your mother and I was still awake. And I'm trying to figure out who raised y'all. You in Pocono County Mountain, Pennsylvania. And you got up out your bed or whatever, you went and picked up your homegirl at 1 o'clock in the morning. It take you at least 20 minutes. I don't give a damn where you live at around here to get here. And you came to young men's house. Two young girls come see two young men at 1:30 in the morning. Do they deserve to be taken advantage of or anything like that? Peace and love, goddess. No, they don't deserve to be taken advantage of. I'm just saying, as a mother, what am I saying? Where's your mother? Who allowed you to walk out the house at 1:30 and say, where you going? Out here, the club closed at 2. Where you going? Oh, it wasn't even the weekend. Where you going?
Yeah, it's a
So,
lot. It's a lot. It's a
oh, she's
lot with
back.
that.
All right, go on, carry on.
It is definitely a lot with that. And that's what I think that's what a lot of times I feel like, even when your kids reach a certain age, it comes like, okay, well, I don't have to say anything because now they're of age. No, you still 18, 19, 20. Where you going? What you doing? Because anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? And even with you just making sure that you put your input in there so they understand where you're coming from, then that is very important. That's why I'm like always staying communicative with your children is very important. You know what I'm saying? Because even with Cassie, I think that really played a major part when Cassie's mom was able to physically see what her daughter was going through and still can understand why was she feeling like she had to endure that pain and go back. But like I said, and like the first lady OG said, when you that young and you have been mentally broken down and physically and emotionally broken down, this is the levels of narcissism that you come across. Some narcissists, it deals with straight mental. Some narcissism or narcissists carry all three of those traits. Give mommy 1 second, baby. Yes. Let me see. Oh, let me kiss it. There you go. Okay, but don't pull it. But we're gonna jump in to the testimony of Cassie's best friend. And this was also when you think about certain things and the amount of people that were around her that was also scared. That's why they never helped her. Is a sad situation too. But anyhow, y'all, the next individual to take the stand, which I also thought did an awesome job as in building the foundation of who this guy is. But before I go any further, First Lady OG actually mentioned something, and this is the thing. This shit is bigger than Diddy. You know what I'm saying? This shit is huger than Diddy. And for me, I agree with that because like when you think about what he is supposed to be on trial for is supposed to be trafficking. And really and truly, he's not on trial for that. It's highly talking about all of the things that have been done. Now, I'm going to say it like this. We have 8 weeks of this was an 8 week trial, and currently we have approximately 7 weeks left. Okay. Mm, yeah, we have approximately 7 weeks left of this trial or whatever have you. So, because the trial is set to end, they're saying within the ending June, July, or whatever have you. But anyhow, I'm trying to keep focused to see how much of the trafficking part of it that's going to come out because we already understand that he was trafficking. They spoke briefly, but they spoke of the trafficking part of it involving the escort workers that they were hiring to travel across lines in order to commit these sexual acts and whatever have you, as well as Cassie being the only one spoken of being trafficked because she was also traveling to certain places also to meet these escorts or whatever have you to perform these freak offs. It has been others that have been trafficked. It has been others to deal with abuse and other things that a lot of these people are into. And when you go into the depths of voyeurism, it's ridiculous. First Lady OG, can you give me a second and hold it down? I'll be right back.
Uh-oh, did she disappear, y'all? Did she go? Did she go? Did she disappear? Or is it bad? Is it bad service? What we got going on, y'all? You did. I said she did. You did. I said you did. You did. It's Yeah, again, um, some people take all right, dude. Some people understand that when it comes to things like this, I just feel like we all have to stay. I don't look, listen, be very observant, and then just like when it comes to court, I always use the analogy of on any other court that you know of, what are they doing? I feel like, oh, let's go basketball court, let's go tennis court, let's go volleyball. Um, what else? What else is there courts? But at the end of the day, my analogy is on any other court you play games. So kind of makes me just wonder, like, what makes this court any different?
It's really not. And let's put it like this. The only reason he's in the position that he's in is because he didn't abide by whatever contractual agreements. Okay? Because for a very long time, he had a lot of people that assisted him with every single thing. And like I
And
said
you
prior before,
also understand that
mm-hmm,
if you know, you know,
mm-hmm,
those that are truly controlling the strings over someone like him and the other name that everybody just can't wait and can't wonder how you saying all of this about him and not about him, but understand that they were strategically placed in the industry to do exactly what they do. What is the name of this movie? I was trying to give it to Faye earlier. It's something something to the Greek, y'all. Somebody has to know that. It's let me look it up. It's a movie that Puffy's in, y'all. Yes. Yes. Now they said this was 2010, I believe, because I looked it up when
mm-hmm.
Tammy showed me. But if you go and take a look at that, my thing is, it's goofy, quirky, nobody's acting, but pay attention to Mr. Combs wholeheartedly within that movie. Not only his mannerisms, but everything that comes out of his mouth and how I just want to say, like, to the point, like, he can't act, but then when it comes to him being uh dominant, how things change and it's so natural, like to turn around and for him to say something like an acting line like, and I never seen that before, and you looking like this. Yeah,
Listen, he wasn't acting. He was actually being himself.
that
That's why it
part.
came across as
As
what it
long as you've been
was,
in the
because he
business,
was
guys.
literally being himself. So it came natural. And you know what's so crazy? I don't know if you guys got a chance to go watch that short that I dropped of a interview way back with Mike Tyson and him. It's a lot of stuff that you can go back and date back to some of these interviews that he had with other um whether it's artists, box, whoever, and just the things and his demeanor, and it's just certain things that a man wouldn't say. Not a man's man
That
will
part.
say out his mouth
That part.
respectfully, okay? And then even when you take it back, like for me, okay, listen, I understand Cassie definitely deserves every amount of what she's going to get, but Cassie's not the only one. And I feel like it will be so much stronger if the Ushers came out and the Justin Biebers stepped out. But the reason why I feel like they can't step out is because then it opens up the worms to the real people that's been involved. Because let's keep it real, poor P. Diddy wasn't born a voyager. He was taught, he was brought into that life. That wasn't something that he was born with, like he came out saying like this is what it's going to be. No, that was something, that was a lifestyle that was introduced to him, and he got turned out. And if you ask me, Clive and all of them, I don't know. I really don't know, y'all. But yeah, it's deep. But I really think we need to talk about the fact that he should be going down for the things that the assaults that were taking place when it came down to these very young artists that were coming into the industry. And like I said, when you think about the Ushers and the Justin Biebers, like these were babies coming in that were violated. Okay, they will destroy all of Hollywood if they came forward. That's exactly what I feel, Marta the Smarter. I totally agree with you on that 100%. I want to know if I can drop the link in my chat. Let me see something. I should be able to figure this out. Y'all know I'm getting better at this. I be figuring stuff out. I'm gonna drop the link just in case you guys actually want to come up, and because I know sometimes it'd be a lot to type. Trust me, I know it'd be a lot to type sometimes. But if you guys want to come up, you guys are definitely welcome to. But yes, I do feel like if they were to come forward, it definitely is going to destroy Hollywood. And you know what's so funny? I appreciate the First Lady OG for dropping this video on me. You guys already know my service be all over the place. I don't know if the First Lady OG will be willing to play it because she just has like a better clarity sometimes. Guys, I don't even know why sometimes my service does that, but we are working on it. Ooh, what am I doing? No, I'm not doing that. We are working on it. We are working on it. So I'm gonna drop an audio that I actually want you guys
What
to
you want me to
listen to.
play, daughter? What you
And
want me to play?
I wanted you to play the testimony of Wendy Williams. I definitely wanted to play the testimony of Wendy Williams. But before you begin to play that, let me just drop the link and let me just jump into Cassie's best friend's testimony. And then I want to dive into Wendy's testimony. And Wendy's testimony, I rather definitely you guys hear it. And I appreciate that so much if you can play it for me. Because like I said, it has a little bit more clarity on your end. So
Okay.
you already know the vibe. So let me just jump in here to drop off the link. Anybody that wants to come up, you guys are welcome to come up and share your thoughts and opinion. And this is the Odyssey Podcast with your girl world, and of course the First Lady OG. This is Word on the Street, and I appreciate all of you for all the love and support. Thank you guys so much, especially to my beautiful moderators. I cannot do this without you guys, and y'all already know. So that was a brief intermission. Love you guys, love you guys. And yo, y'all, go check out Marta the Smarter. Marta the Smarter right here on YT. Go check her out. Trust me, like I've been telling y'all from the beginning, virtual assist. Go back to all the videos. You're gonna always hear me mention Marta the Smarter because when I'm listening to her, even when I'm not able to type and I'm at work, she has definitely motivated and gave me the inspiration on how to conduct my channel. So I have extremely gotten better. So if you guys are existing content creators, if you guys want to become new content creators, if you are looking to work from home, go check out Marta the Smarter. 10:01 a.m. right here on YT. That is where you need to be. All right, guys, let's jump back in. I am going to actually jump into this Cassie's best friend's testimony really quickly. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. You already know, Auntie Marta. You already know I love you. We right here. We right here. And I appreciate you. Like I said, if I got better just dealing with you and you know, girl, just now about to be great. Nah, you already know. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. Listen, guys, Cassie's best friend was able to testify as well. And I will tell you, I think her testimony was also laying a part of the foundation to also assist along this case. Although me and First Lady OG, and I'm sure a lot of us share the same sentiment in my chat as well, they need to really get to the bigger picture. But let's just get into the whole process. Carrie, Carrie Morgan, which is Cassie Ventura's closest friend for over 17 years, testified about the friendship and what she's seen involving Diddy. Now, I'm going to make this very short because when I tell you the Wendy Williams testimony is very explosive. So, Cassie's best friend testified on everything that she witnessed um, during certain incidents that took place with Diddy physically attacking Cassie. Excuse me, Zuri. Thank you. With Diddy physically attacking Cassie. And we pretty much get the point that Cassie was very much physically abused. And right now, the reason why they have to lay the foundation because they have to paint the picture of how Diddy is a full blown monster. And they're also trying to lay the foundation to jump into the drugs and everything else. Like I said, it's going to be like 7 more weeks. So it's a lot more to come out. I'm not going to go too in depth with word for word of what Carrie Morgan said, but in a nutshell, she's basically confirming what Kid Cudi, Don Richards, even though Don Richards' testimony was poor, is she still kind of like corroborated some of what Don said, and alongside 100% what her best friend Cassie stated. So, with that being said, First Lady OG, you can go right ahead and jump in and play that audio for me. And I appreciate you so, so very much. I think you have your moderator, so you have the ability to even share the screen. I just think you probably got to touch your moderator stick to see what it does, but I believe you should be able to share the screen. First Lady OG, are you here? Well, I'm going to give First Lady. Oh, okay, great. I'm gonna mute up, and when you're able to just play it, then you can. If you need some time, let me know, and I'll continue doing more commentary until you have the spot. I'm actually speaking a bit loud, so I hope you guys can hear me. Just because my daughter wants to have her iPad extremely loud. You can hear me just because my daughter wants to have her iPad extremely loud. Okay, guys. So First Lady OG will be back to play the audio for me. And like I said, okay, my daughter loves to have her iPad extremely loud. But yes, um, right now I'm actually waiting for them to be back in court Monday. And I really hope that they dive a little bit more deeper into what actually matters. But like we know they can't because it's too much other people that are in the game that definitely will be going down if a lot more things was to come out. Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry, give me one minute, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. In the meantime, I am going to play my song, and I'll be right back. Alrighty.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Oh, you ready? Okay, great. I'm ready, First Lady OG. I'm gonna mute up. First Lady OG, you can go right ahead and play. I'm ready. You're on mute.
So now that y'all wasn't hearing it because I was still on mute. Hey, I got y'all right now.
Before we begin,
Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. In a shocking twist no one saw coming, Wendy Williams, the queen of hot topics, the one they tried to silence, has now taken the stand in federal court. After decades of rumors, suspicions, and relentless industry backlash, Wendy is finally putting it all on record. Her testimony isn't just about Diddy, it's about a pattern of protection, silence, and systemic abuse in hip-hop and entertainment. From Jay-Z to R. Kelly, from radio blackballing to NDAs, Wendy came armed with dates, quotes, and chilling recollections. This wasn't a tabloid segment. This was a bombshell deposition, under oath, with everyone listening. What she said about Diddy, Jay-Z, and their twisted connection. It could tear down an entire industry. Buckle up, because Wendy Williams just turned the courtroom into her purple chair. When Wendy Williams entered the courtroom, it didn't feel like a celebrity appearance. It felt like the arrival of someone who had been buried alive and clawed her way out just to finally tell the truth. She wasn't here for headlines. She wasn't here for drama. She was here because, for years, the media tried to silence her with lawsuits, threats, blackballing, and mockery. And now, all those warnings, all those rumors she put out on her old radio show were part of a federal investigation. She sat down, looked directly at the jury, and adjusted her microphone with a calm but deliberate pace. I was never messy. I was never bitter. I was never lying. I was early. Wendy wasted no time reminding the court why she was there, to testify under oath about the behaviors, threats, cover-ups, and patterns she had long accused Sean Diddy Combs of orchestrating. When I first started talking about Diddy, she said, I wasn't trying to tear him down.
It's the Big Pig song!
Everybody gotta get a dollar, y'all. Everybody gotta get
I was trying to wake people up. The courtroom watched as she placed a stack of papers in front of her. Printouts of old show transcripts, emails from executives, and a timeline of everything Diddy allegedly did to shut her down. She started in the early 2000s. He was protected. Everybody knew it. You couldn't talk about Puff without a phone call coming in an hour later. She detailed moments where station managers warned her, advertisers pulled out of her show, and threats were made in subtle but unmistakable ways. You're doing too much, Wendy, they'd say. You're gonna get hurt, Wendy. She described being chased, quite literally, out of her radio station by a girl group allegedly sent by Diddy himself. Total. I said they were broke, and within hours, they were waiting for me outside my building. That's not coincidence. That's coordination. Wendy described her career like it was a war zone. Every time I exposed something about Diddy, from his parties to the way he treated his artists, something in my world would collapse. A sponsor, a syndication deal, a network invite, gone. But she refused to back down. You can blackball me, you can threaten me, but you can't erase me. And now I'm under oath, so I hope they're listening, because I'm not stopping until the truth is loud enough to shut their machine down. When the prosecution asked Wendy about the culture surrounding Diddy, she pivoted towards someone else she had long warned the public about, Jay-Z, and her tone sharpened. You can't talk about what Diddy did without talking about the people who stood next to him, smiled with him, while the abuse was happening. That includes Jay-Z. Wendy's eyes scanned the jury before she leaned in. Y'all remember Foxy Brown? She was 15. Jay-Z was 27, and he was everywhere with her. She pulled out lyrics from Foxy's debut album, songs Jay-Z reportedly wrote. Ain't no nump like the one I got. No one can fuck me better. She read aloud, deliberately. The courtroom recoiled. You tell me, she continued. Why was a grown man writing those lyrics for a child? She continued with details only someone from the industry could know. Rumors of Jay picking Foxy up from high school, lavish gifts, shopping sprees, and hair appointments funded by a man almost twice her age. This wasn't a label signing. This was grooming. Then Wendy dropped something even darker, an alleged tape. There was a rumor for years that a tape existed. Jay-Z, Foxy, and Jamie Foxx. You never heard about it again? Why? Because suddenly, Foxy's home was burglarized. The tape, gone. She let the words hang in the air. Coincidence? I think not. Wendy said she was fired from her top-rated radio show shortly after suggesting with underage girls needed to be investigated. They called me toxic, but now you're seeing that everything I asked was worth asking. The prosecution then asked if she had any concrete evidence. Wendy nodded. Email, call log, producers who backed out of my show when I brought up Jay's name. She told the court that Jay-Z's team made quiet calls to industry insiders to blacklist anyone who spoke about Foxy. They turned me into the villain, she said, just for asking what any decent person should have asked. Then she turned to the jury. You think I lost sponsors for being messy? I lost sponsors because I was right, and they couldn't let that spread. Next came what Wendy called the part nobody wanted to believe, the part that had her labeled as a liar, a loudmouth, and worse. She told the court, I was the first to say it. Those weren't parties. They were operations. She was referring to the infamous freak-offs, a term now central to the federal indictment against Diddy. Wendy said she first heard whispers about these events in the late 90s, when Bad Boy was at its peak. Phones were taken at the door. Guests signed NDAs. There were candles, escorts, cameras. People were assigned to rooms. This wasn't a house party. It was a ritual. She referenced Karen Superhead Steffens, who told Wendy on air that Diddy invited her to one of these parties and asked for male involvement. Superhead didn't lie. She described everything. Diddy's paranoia, his drugs, the strange setups. She said he was afraid she'd expose him. Wendy leaned in again, and I made sure people heard that interview. I played it again and again because the truth was too heavy to let it pass. She described similar stories she'd heard from other guests, men and women, who had been to Diddy's parties and came back shaken. They didn't just party. They were told what to do, what to wear, who to touch, what room to go in. Wendy testified that she had personally spoken with 3 individuals who described IV bags being used to recover from the party, just as the court indictment now details. They said there were medical assistants on standby. This was not socializing. This was organized depravity. She produced a list, pseudonyms only, of people who'd given her their testimonies in private. The court was stunned. One by one, these events matched the very patterns described by Cassie Ventura, Gene Deal, and other witnesses in the case. Finally, Wendy said something that hit everyone hard. The baby oil? I said it on air as a joke, but it wasn't funny. They really found over 1,000 bottles, just like I said. You know why I knew? Because people told me, and I was the only one willing to say it. She sat back in the chair, composed, and looked over at Diddy. All these years later, and we're finally here. Now it's not gossip, it's evidence. As the courtroom grew more silent, Wendy Williams shifted focus to someone else she had been defending for years, Cassie Ventura. I said it back then, she declared, eyes never leaving the jury. Y'all were mesmerized by the diamonds, the music videos, the red carpets, but I saw a scared girl. I saw imbalance, and I said it on the air. Something about that relationship was off. Wendy.
The viral video with over 10 million views is back. If you've been living under a rock and don't know what's going on,
Testified that she had tried to warn her listeners as early as 2008 about the obsessive control Diddy allegedly had over Cassie. She was 19. He was pushing 40. That's not love. That's leverage. Wendy explained how the mogul's lifestyle, jets, private security, industry pull, made it nearly impossible for Cassie to leave. I said it then, and I'll say it now. She didn't need a boyfriend. She needed a bodyguard. She reminded the courtroom of a clip she played on her show years ago, where Cassie looked down during an interview and flinched when Diddy raised his voice. People called it nerves. I called it trauma, but nobody listened. The prosecution then entered into evidence a timeline of Wendy's broadcasts that paralleled Cassie's legal claims. I was told Diddy had access to her phones, that he'd show up at hotels unannounced, that he'd get staff to unlock her doors. She paused. And when I said that out loud, my show sponsors pulled the plug. Wendy then referenced a 2018 incident, the one where Cassie reportedly ended the relationship after Diddy allegedly forced his way into her home. That's not the first time he showed up uninvited, Wendy testified. People don't understand. When a mogul wants control, they don't need permission. They make the world rearrange itself for them. She gave the court a chilling breakdown of how these mogul dynamics play out. Grooming, isolating, leveraging industry influence, and forcing the illusion of luxury as a means of obedience. He didn't just love Cassie, he owned her, and when she broke the chain, she became dangerous. Wendy ended this part of her testimony by saying, "Everything in that lawsuit, I saw the sign. I said it publicly, and now she's finally being heard. But at what cost?" Wendy adjusted her mic again. Her voice didn't tremble, but it slowed. "You don't get to talk about men like Diddy and walk away clean. I knew that, but I didn't realize how deep it would go until it happened." She testified that in 2004, at the peak of her radio dominance, she received a message from a record label executive: "Stop talking about Puff, or else." Wendy didn't flinch. She kept going. The very next week, she was pulled from her afternoon time slot. "They didn't even pretend it wasn't about him," she said. "It was punishment." Wendy revealed she'd heard from multiple sources that Diddy had made phone calls, strategic ones, she said, to label heads, promoters, and radio networks, warning them to distance themselves from Wendy. She recalled one program director telling her bluntly, "You went too far. You poked the wrong bear." She spoke about how she was almost attacked in front of her own studio by the girl group Total after she called them washed up and broke on air. "And you think they just showed up randomly? Number they were sent?" Wendy recounted the moment in vivid detail. Fans pressed to the glass of the radio station lobby, her boyfriend at the time waiting in a car, her intern panicking. That wasn't just a confrontation. That was a message. "We can get to you." She then described how she was disinvited from BET events, denied media passes, and lost advertising deal. It was all coordinated. Diddy didn't just want to stop me. He wanted to erase me. She brought out printed emails from PR firms representing Bad Boy at the time, each one distancing themselves from her platform. One email read, "Per client instruction, we will no longer be booking talent on Wendy Williams' show." "That client? Sean Combs," Wendy said, holding up the page. "I wasn't the first to be blackballed," she added, "but I was one of the few who stayed loud about it." She turned to the jury again. "That's what he does. If you speak, you lose everything. Your mic, your money, your name. But I didn't fold. I talked through the silence. And here I am." Wendy sat still for a moment before recounting a time that felt almost surreal in hindsight. "We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop," she began, quoting her own past words. "That wasn't shade. That was truth. And for saying it, I was burned at the stake." She explained how in the early 2000s, there was a quiet but undeniable effort to protect certain stars by shaming those who questioned them. "I had Charlemagne on the air with me, and even back then, we knew what not to say if we wanted to stay employed, but I said it anyway." She brought up her 2004 book, The Wendy Williams Experience, which was full of coded references and veiled warnings about Diddy, Jay-Z, and their after-dark lifestyles. People called it gossip, but now the government calls it evidence. Wendy then recounted a 2009 interview she did with former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry, who had just written Dancing with the Devil. "He called Diddy the shadow that ruins people." I agreed. And suddenly, that interview disappeared from the radio station's archives. She told the court that every time she tried to feature someone critical of the industry, Superhead, Gene Deal, Jaguar Wright, she got pushback, email threats, even FCC complaints. They tried to shut me down through every angle they could.
Who do you trust when you owe the IRS? Do you believe all these people promising they can reduce your tax debt?
Then she dropped something that caught the court's attention. There was a list, not written down, but everyone in the industry knew it. A list of people you couldn't talk about. And when I broke that rule, I paid. She explained that her Hot Topics segments were constantly being flagged for review, that show producers were being threatened by talent reps, and that executives warned her off the record to back off. They said I was going to mess it all up for them, for the station, for myself. She paused. But now it's all messed up anyway, because the truth is out. Wendy's voice lowered as she finished this part. This trial is not the beginning. It's the end of a cover-up, and I want the jury to know. I've been sounding this alarm for 20 years. You all just finally heard it. As Wendy looked back at the courtroom, her tone shifted again. Sharper now, more precise. "You think this is just about Diddy? You're wrong," she said, locking eyes with the jury. "This is about the ecosystem that protected him, and that includes names you were never supposed to hear in a courtroom. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey." A collective stillness fell over the courtroom. The prosecution asked her to explain, and she did, with brutal clarity. "There's a list in Hollywood, not one you'll ever see, not one you'll ever hold. but it's real. It's the list of people you do not cross. And if you do, you disappear. Wendy recounted the aftermath of her infamous radio segments when she exposed not only Diddy's parties and manipulation, but also called out how Tyler Perry allegedly blackballed her behind closed doors. I had sources, real ones, producers, agents, and they told me flat out, Wendy, your name is being passed around. They don't want you touching certain topics. You're being labeled unstable. She explained that after her fallout with the Precious Team, a film both Perry and Oprah were heavily involved in, her access in the industry collapsed. I went from getting invites to premieres to being wiped off the guest list. One executive told me, Oprah's people don't want you near her anymore. That's power, and that power was used to protect people like Diddy. Then came a chilling story. Wendy testified that she confided in Oprah once, privately, about her own past trauma with abuse. She told me she respected me, that she'd never exploit that story. And then, next thing I know, my abuser was on her show, being interviewed, while I was being blackballed. She continued, That wasn't just betrayal. That was retaliation. The jury looked stunned as Wendy laid it bare. They smiled with him. They took pictures. They stood beside Diddy while the rest of us were getting crushed for speaking out. And I know why. Because they needed him for deals, for reach, for silence. She then revealed an email accidentally forwarded to her from a PR firm handling crisis communication for both Perry's studio and a Bad Boy affiliated brand. The subject line, Managing Optics, Wendy, Puff, Tyler. That was all it said, but that was all she needed. Wendy stared straight ahead. These aren't just isolated stars. They're a machine that feeds on silence and destroys anyone who dares pull the curtain back. By now, the courtroom had grown tense with every word Wendy delivered. Then came a moment that prosecutors later called a turning point. Wendy pulled out a thick file folder. This, she said, tapping the cover, is a collection of NDA, email threads, and internal memos that were never supposed to see the light of day. She clarified that she obtained them not through hacking, but from industry friends who had long since left the game. They were tired of watching women disappear, tired of seeing truth labeled gossip. Wendy began reading from an NDA dated 2007. The name redacted. The language? Ominous. Subject agrees not to disclose any private gatherings, recordings, or interactions with Sean Combs, his guests, or associates. Violation of this agreement may result in financial penalties and public retaliation. She slammed the paper down. Public retaliation. That's how deep it went. Next, she read an internal email from a luxury hotel chain. We have prepared the presidential suite with all requested amenities, including extra linens, candlelight lighting, and discretion measures. Mr. Combs's assistant will arrive for setup prior to guest entry. The date on that email? 2015. Cassie was still with Diddy. You think this was just celebrity partying? Wendy asked. Number, this was a system. This was planned, funded, scheduled, and cleaned up afterward. She revealed that she had evidence of payments made to publicists, talent managers, even bloggers, all to manage the narrative. One email instructed a writer to avoid any reference to recent rumors and instead push an article on Diddy's philanthropic work. Then came a photo, one that prosecutors presented to the jury. Diddy, Tyler Perry, and a media consultant known for her crisis sweep services, all standing together at a 2019 gala. They were smiling, Wendy said, smiling while women were getting paid to shut up and others were getting destroyed for not signing. She told the court that she, too, was offered an NDA. They wanted to shut me up, said I could have a syndicated TV deal if I agreed to move on from the topics I was covering. I said no, and I paid the price. The jury was silent as Wendy concluded, the silence they bought cost others their freedom, their peace, their truth, and now it's all unraveling, one NDA at a time. As Wendy Williams reached the final portion of her testimony, she didn't break. She didn't cry. She simply sat with the weight of 2 decades of warning the world and being ignored. You see Diddy on trial, she said, her voice calm and controlled, but I see something much bigger. This isn't just about what he did. It's about who let him do it. She gestured to the defense table. You see one man, but behind him is a legacy of silence, a tower built on fear, on NDAS, on power plays and party invitations and billion-dollar handshakes. Then she turned directly to the jury. And every time someone tried to speak, that tower crushed them. She reminded the court that while Diddy was the one charged, others, Jay-Z, Perry, Oprah, the labels, the handlers, had sat quietly for years, some even watching the abuse happen firsthand. They shook his hand, they took his checks, and they made sure anyone who asked questions was pushed out the door. Wendy concluded her testimony with the same voice that made her radio show famous: commanding, raw, and unfiltered. I was called bitter, I was called crazy, but I was right, and I would rather be right in hell than be silent in heaven. She looked toward Diddy, who had remained mostly stoic through her testimony. You thought I was gone. You thought your power was enough. But now you sit where the truth finally caught up to you, and I hope it's loud. Before stepping down, Wendy turned once more toward the gallery. This trial is not the end. It's the beginning of people finally naming names, of the walls cracking, and of the whole tower one day falling down. And just like that, she walked out, not as a talk show host, not as a gossip queen, but as a witness whose voice could no longer be denied.
I'm about to cash a $50,000 check for an accident I was involved in over 5 months ago. The same accident the insurance company offered me $5,000 for. Crazy, right? Friends, family, and even the insurance company told me I'd barely get anything for it, that it wasn't worth my time because all the hoops I would have to jump through for it. I'm so glad I didn't listen, because now I'm basically getting $45,000 of extra money for free without having to jump through a bunch of hoops or having to desperately plead my case to firm after firm that really don't even care. Here, let me show you how I did it. I'm going to show you how I got this $50,000 check I'm about to deposit into my bank account for an accident I was involved in over 5 months ago. The same accident, the insurance company only offered me $5,000.
All right, y'all. I'm sure just until she comes back. Listen, let's make this quite clear. That was very damning. That testimony that Wendy gave was very damning, broke down everything from the very beginning. And Hank, I'm definitely checking out what you said, because that just blew my mind what you said. These people are very sick and demonic. But I mean, Wendy Williams pretty much put it in a nutshell, and I think that's one of the reasons they was trying to get rid of her. First Lady OG, what was your thoughts listening to Wendy Williams' testimony?
I mean, at the end of the day, you already know where I'm at with it. That was a big deal.
She said a lot of things.
She said a
She said
lot.
of things.
But at the end of the day, like she also said, like y'all been trying to silence me. Everybody loved me because I was giving so-called gossip when it was the truth all along. It was all along the truth. And y'all was telling me that I was giving gossip. And now when she goes back, what I love the fact that they stated that she came with her receipts. Like she came with her receipts and she could say, okay, like how she could say, I said this and I was immediately pulled off my slot. I said that, I did this happened this day, and the next day this is what happened to me. Like she said, but what you see what they also said, hey, Wendy, chill, you doing too much. She ain't listen. She sat there and said, look, me and Charlamagne both knew. We know what to say and what not to say to keep our job. She didn't give a fuck. She said it anyway. We loved it. But she knew what it was. But she was one of those people that's like y'all really think that I'm just a messy ass in everybody else's business. But I also like the fact that she let it be known people told her. You know, there were people in the industry that were sitting next to these people that went to the party and said, yo, this what happened. And she taking it and she coming to the top topics and get on the purple chair and kind of, you know, throwing it out there sporadically and not really But the truth was, now look, like she said, and she like what? And when she said pay attention, she said, I hope they are listening. She damn sure ain't. She ain't talking about Puffy and Jay Z and them. He talking about the ones. Talking about the real ones. That's ahead of all of this. Because at the end of the day, we see what she called it. It's an ecosystem. Why do you think it's able to work so long? It's almost just like the mob. Why do you think the mob was so successful? Because it was structured. And everybody knew how to play their part, and they walked the walk and they talked the talk. And what y'all already know within the mob, I don't care what somebody did to you. Oh, this nigga did. I'm taking his ass out. Nah, you gotta go speak to Uncle Paulie first. You can't just, don't matter what he did. You gotta go ask Uncle Paulie, is it okay, or how we gonna handle this situation? So same thing, like the ecosystem. I was just sent a video from one of my contacts that does intel, and just sent a video of MJ losing it after winning the
That is
title
so true. That
because
is
of
so true.
sacrificing his father.
So
Yes,
Hank said,
yes.
remember
I
Joan
was gonna
Rivers.
say that, Hank, but I try to be cool on my daughter's channel because sometimes I be saying a lot. Definitely was gonna refer to Joan Rivers. Yes, and when you say I want to say probably 2 weeks, 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks. Yes, they came up on her and they asked her what she thought about ever, what United States ever with a gay president. What did she feel about that? And she responded that the United States already had a gay president with Obama. And then she stated, everybody knows Michelle's a man. I mean, a trans, and everybody didn't know that. And she said it so like everybody knew, and everybody didn't know that, and everybody didn't know. That's why her ass ended up not here anymore either. Nobody know that either. Chili Pepper. Yes, Hank. Yes.
So I am so dead right now. Did y'all see what? Coroner van, Michael Jackson jumped out the back into the building when he was supposed to be there. Yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of
Well,
things.
I didn't actually see that, but I have intel on him still being, yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't see that particular
That's what I'm
thing,
hearing.
but I do know
Allegedly,
among,
I'm
like
hearing
I
is
said,
a
among
few
my
of them that
peers,
we
yeah, he's still
assume may
here.
not that
Mhm.
they that is deceased but is alive.
I mean,
Alleged
but you pay
YouTube. We
attention
just
what you see
conversing.
and
We ain't
do.
saying we ain't trying to put nothing in nobody's head. We
Oh
just
yeah, we're
saying
not pushing
what
no agenda or
information we
nothing.
came across.
Right. We're just speaking on what we see on the internet, and we're just giving our own opinion on things that are out here, y'all. That's it. So allegedly for
It can
y'all.
definitely be that can definitely be true, Hank. Sonia wants to know where can she see that at, Hank? Do you possibly have it's on YouTube. You could probably just type in Michael Jackson jumps out the back of the van and it'll probably give you like a list
Yo,
of
hey Hank, you know
videos.
who they say was standing there was at his own funeral too, George Floyd. Mm-hmm. What's up? Yes, I did see that.
That's crazy. That's definitely crazy. Well, y'all, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's so much to uncover. Like I said, we got a few more weeks to go of this trial, and I definitely hope they dive a little bit more deeper into certain things that really matter. But I do feel like Marta the Smarter and Sonia, and I think we all carry the same sentiment of they are not going to allow certain things to come out because then it's going to blow out the major players. And really
Exactly.
and truly,
They're
Puffy is
trying to
not a
promote
major player.
anarchy.
He's just a small fish, but he ain't a big fish. He ain't the big, big, big fish. He the small, small, small fish. You know what I'm saying? But I am gonna continue to follow this trial for those of us that are interested on what's going to keep on happening, what's going to come out as the weeks go on. You guys know I love you guys dearly, but you guys know I work overnight, so I got to get ready to wrap it up, but look forward to more content. And I think I'm going to more or less do it exactly how I'm doing it now, which is wait for a couple of weeks of just information and then come to you guys and we'll do a breakdown, put in what we feel and etc. Smarter the smarter. It's a distraction from what is really going on. Exactly. I truly
Yes, it
agree
is.
with
Hey,
that. Is
hey, you keep
100%.
stop trying to make me talk about things that I ain't trying to talk about on here. Okay? Now, but just to
Pink
clarify
says
what
JFK
Mr.
Jr. is alive.
Jr. is talking about, yes. And my man, JFK Jr., yes, he is. He's still here with the missus. And his father just passed at 82 years old in January of 2021. The real one, the daddy.
Well,
Okay,
I
so that's
think we
it.
could I think we can do a segment. I truly think that we can do a segment of all the things
Yeah.
that were uncovered. And
We
I
can
feel
do
like
it.
we can
We do
still
that
do
for
it.
almost
And
2
even
hours.
if we have to, and please, even if we have to use allegedly, it will just be because of
She
YouTube
has to put a word.
terms, not
She don't
because
do
we
anything.
believe it
She's
to
not
be that.
doing anything else. But I'm gonna text it to
Trump just posted about JFK Jr. and how Hillary has a kill list. Trump posted this the other day. Listen, it's been a
yeah, she
lot of
saw what
things
he
to
just
be
what the
uncovered.
executive orders he signed today live. And you know
But we definitely have to
JFK
do a
Jr.
segment.
Is his boy. That's it. They that's cute, y'all. Oh, let me stop talking too much.
But you
Okay.
know what's so funny? I do believe that's one of the reasons that Trump did open up the class and release the classified documentations when it came down to the
That's no fraud.
JFK
That's no
files
fraud, daughter.
and Martin Luther King. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Welcome, no fraud to the building. Thank you for pulling up on me. You already know I always appreciate you. Thank you. Listen, we're gonna dive into what they want to call conspiracies. We are going to dive into that because I do think
Yo,
that
hey,
we
we
should be
gotta
able
get
to talk
together.
about it.
Yeah, my
JFK Memorial is a giant queue as well. Listen, First Lady OG, why are you afraid? It's okay. We have wrapped up the Diddy trial. We will be back on the Diddy trial and we can jump in a little bit into some of these conspiracies if you would like to. Forgive me if I go on mute at times, but as y'all know, I will be multitasking because I got to get ready for work, but I don't got to get off the line though. You feel me? So, yeah, First Lady OG, you and Frank could definitely dive into a few things and feel free to definitely say what you want. The only thing with YouTube, of course, we just put allegedly, not because we want to say allegedly, but because we just want to keep the content for you guys to listen to. So, yes, First Lady OG, go right ahead and take over. Hank, you feeding me some information. I'm gonna do some research on certain things. We gonna be talking. So go right
y'all
ahead, First
already
Lady, and take
know.
over.
Y'all already know. Yeah, me like, like I wasn't gonna say no. I was gonna I wasn't gonna say no. I'm listening to Wendy like now. Y'all go back and look at what Wendy been going through. Look at some of these things and what some of these artists be going through. It's not, that's why when you call us a conspiracy theorist and crazy and all that, if you would just, if you would just listen. Um, I don't, I know. Daughter girl, this page ain't monetized, is it? I know she don't have no super chat or nothing.
No, this page is not monetized, but that is what we're on the road to, guys. We are on the road to monetization. Currently, I'm trying to make it to 500 subscribers to where I can open up my membership and my super chat. So, you guys already know, you guys have definitely been assisting me. So, as long as you guys know, I'm trying to get to the road of right now 500, like I said, to open up the super chat and the membership. and as well as being able to open up other little things that comes along with YouTube.
Yeah, so
I am
please hit
trying to
the
get
like
to
button on
1,000
your way
subscribers.
in. If you missed it on the way in, please hit it on the way out. That definitely keeps her in the algorithm. Make sure you tap the bell to subscribe so you never miss a live. But once you tap the bell to subscribe, go out and go back and hit the bell again, because the bell is going to be on mentioned. I'm not exactly what it says. It's going to be on your name. Like she has to call you out personally. So you want to click it up to all so that every time she goes live, that you get the notification. And for whatever reason, YouTube, I'm about to sound like I'm on Bigo, like, hey, YouTube, when people subscribe, could you let them subscribe to all first and then change it if they like to? Because honestly, when you subscribe, it's only to some lives, and you have to click it up to all. So that's maybe why you didn't even get the notification no fraud. But yeah, so that was just a little teachable moment, little YT 101. When you do subscribe to a channel that you want to catch their lives, once you hit the bell, go back to the bell again, even though you did subscribe, and hit it to subscribe again and put it on all. And then that way you won't miss anytime that she goes live. I always meant to say that because I realized that with every subscription that I do on YT, that it does that. I go back and look, like I know I was following this person, but I am, but it's not, I didn't subscribe to all of the lives, the bell didn't hit all. So just wanted to let that be known. But yeah, I really appreciate all of you guys in the building hanging out with us tonight. Her schedule is full, it's heavy. Plus she's making a lot of changes and things, so that's why it's a little scarce. But once she makes a move and gets settled in, we definitely gonna put together something a lot more structured. And but for the time being, when we jump in, I love the fact that you guys always jump on, and that definitely warms our heart. And I definitely love um the following and the community that she's made here. And I appreciate y'all so much. Definitely.
Yes, 100% is definitely appreciated. And I will tell you guys as well, a part of YouTube and me being able to access opening up the membership and the super chat will also be based on my watch hours. So I appreciate you guys for helping me get halfway to my journey, which I am at 1,310 watch hours, and I need 3,000 watch hours alongside 500 subscribers, like I said previously before, just to open up that part of it. And when I get to the 500 and the 3,000 watch hours, then I would go on to the next goal of course, trying to get to the 1,000 subscribers, which will then
Mhm.
allow my channel to be monetized. Um,
Yeah.
but I love you
We
guys
on
so
it
much
though, and
for
we
always
appreciate y'all to
keeping
help
me.
us along the journey. As my sissy, one of the smarter, was in the building, will say, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe over here to the Odyssey Podcast. Don't forget to stop by Auntie House Unlocked at I Am Auntie House. Don't forget to that's just to hit your bell over there. But right now, please definitely don't forget to hit Marta the Smarter. You see it in the chat. It's the same way it is, and she is it. You could go back to where she's began. Okay, if you go listen to today, you gonna go back to where she first started, because almost every live is the same. You learn something in order to take it, utilize it for yourself, and go make money. She's about M&Ms, and I'm not talking about the candy. I'm talking about money and mindset. Again, True Crime with Savage Royalty. She's my founder and a family on another app, and I want you to also follow her. Her and Word are along the same lines as far as documentaries, true crimes, trending topics, and the the news that others really don't cover. So definitely subscribe to all of us. We appreciate y'all being a part of our community. We're not just trying to go live just to talk. It's definitely not about money or monetization. That will come when it comes, but it's more about reach and awareness. And having people with the like mind create the community, and we can come together and have conversation and talk and exchange ideas about certain things and according to what the world is saying about it and how we feel about it. So again, we appreciate y'all to the fullest extent, and definitely keep us in prayer as we keep y'all in prayer as family and as a community. And with that being said, it was a beautiful live.
It surely was. It was definitely a beautiful, amazing live. And I appreciate you guys so very, very much. And the First Lady OG said everything so eloquently, and I share the same sentiments. So, as y'all know, this is the Odyssey podcast with your girl Word, and of course, the First Lady OG. And we love you guys very, very much. Peace, love, and light from Theodicy Podcast family and the immediate family to your family out there. Thank you guys again for just all of the love and the support that you guys pour on me. I appreciate you guys so, so very much. And just know I pray for all of you when I say my prayers, because truly, if we don't begin to spread the love and we don't even begin to also have appreciation for those who are taking the time out to give the listening ear, I mean, y'all already know how I feel. We'll go so much further in life if we were to just take that time out. And you don't necessarily have to know somebody to pray for them, not pray on them. Don't make nobody just pray on you now. But pray for somebody is different than praying on a person. So just also keep that in mind. And like I said, y'all, until next time, this is the Odyssey Podcast. We will be back in the building. Y'all already know the vibe. I love you guys. Peace, love, and light.
Yes.
I'm not
Peace, love,
leaving
and light.
y'all.
Before I go, Hank, I definitely did not want to go out without addressing that comment of spending a whole decade, which is AKA 10 years, without smiling once he jumped in the rabbit hole and found out about all the darkness around him. I can truly attest to your feelings, because once you see, you can't unsee. And I'm going to leave it at that. I love you. I love you all again. Thank you, Word Justice, the Odyssey Podcast, for allowing me to um, sit and ride shotgun with Word Justice. Thank you for everybody that is here with us. Thank you for those that are going to be part of the replay game. Thank you for the bushwatchers that chose not to come in. And if you're in, you chose not to say anything. We still appreciate you. We love you just the same. And again, I'm going to say peace, love, and light. And when you know the truth, peace, love, light, and law. That's what we going by. All right, y'all. Until the next time.
That sounds smooth. Got the city on a vibe with that justice in her name is where the truth comes alive. From the headlines to the plot, she's got her ear to the ground, serving news that's real with the beat and a
Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day, no fraud. Thank you. I appreciate you, my love. Thank you.
She's got style and class like a journalistic trick. From the heart of the city to the outskirts wild, she captures the world like a camera doll. Justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings it light so you don't feel the fall. Calling the storm with that urban kick. She's got style and grace like a journalistic trick. From the heart of the city to the outskirts wild, she captures the world like a camera dial. Street justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities and community, big stories and small. Word brings it light so you don't feel the fall. She paints a shape that ink of her stories, there's always some light. No matter where you are, you'll hear her call, echoing the truth, standing tall. Word on the street, justice in the air, bringing you the truth with the Caribbean flair. Celebrities, your community, your stories are small. Word brings it light so you don't feel the fall.